Hello and welcome to another Modern Toy Fair review. Today I'm taking a look at the new NECA Mirage Comics TMNT 4-pack. As always, let me know in the comments below if you were lucky enough to hunt these down, if you're waiting on an order from AliExpress, or if you're still on the hunt. And of course, make sure to stick around at the end of the video so you can see all the photos I took. But that's enough chitter chatter, let's go ahead and get at her. Alright, so we are going to start with the best turtle, Donatello. So let's take a look at him here. So you've got his little scowl, the lines on his snout. You've got some great like brow lines sculpted there, emphasis on the with the black paint. You've got this weird little gap between his mask and his cheek though, which I'm kind of concerned about. You've got the tails to his mask hanging off to the side with some great shading. You've got some lines there on his shoulder and collarbone. You get down to his like chest and stomach plate. And there's all sorts of line work. And each turtle's is different, which is really cool. Same with their belt, which the belt looks really nice. I like the shade of brown that they use there. You go to the arms, they've got all the muscles detailed with that same line work. Got his elbow pads, which are nice and look like they're nicked up. Got the wristband, you've got the hands. And then underneath his shell, he's got this like weird little like skirt thing going on here, like a little turtle foreskin that like covers his hips. I think it's just to hide the articulation. But then you've got his big beefy thighs, his knee pads, his calves, down to his feet and his toes with little wrinkles there. Even got some line work on the bottom of the feet, which is insane to me. Flip him around here and see a better look at some of the detail on the like tails to his mask. Let's see, there's some of the lines for the shading. And the shell, the one thing I don't like is I don't like the shells. They're like too, they're not like bulky enough. They're just like very flat, which is weird to me. But the detail on the back of this looks fantastic. The belt does have a little loophole for the bow staff. Let me grab that real quick. It does just slide in. Go. Put that down in there like so. You might be able to get it further, but I'm too afraid to break these, so I'm not going to. But that's about as far as I could get it. He does have a little tail, which I think is a nice touch. And then you've got all those muscles detailed going down the back of the legs. Okay, on to Leonardo. So I'm going to speed through these. A lot of these have the same bodies, but you've got a different head here, a little scowl, a little bit extra lines there on his cheeks. His gap is filled in a little better with some black lines there between the cheek and the mask, which I like. And then you do have the extra straps to hold his sheaths on his back to his belt. Some different line work there on the chest. Same on the arms, down to the hand. He also has the little turtle foreskin. It's got the same thighs and line work there. Knee pads, calves, toes, all that fun stuff. Flip him around. Major difference here is he has the sheaths to his swords, which has some real cool lines there, but let me show you. So mine's weird. I can fit this in, it just slides right in. The other one though, I have to like kind of give a little effort. It doesn't go by itself, which is a little concerning, so be careful. But yeah, they did a great job. It's got like a lot of great textures. It's a little bit of a slightly lighter brown than his belt, which is nice, makes it stand out a little bit. Got his tail, his thighs, his calves, all that. Next up, we have Michelangelo with his little cheese in its smile there, showing off all the teeth. Still got the lens in the snout and his eyes. Got a little belt and all the lines on his chest plate, which are slightly different. Arms are all the same. The turtle foreskin's still there. Got legs, all the lines through there, toes, everything like the other two. Get to the back. And one thing I've noticed, he doesn't have any holsters. I've seen some people put them and tuck them into the front, but I'm afraid of paint rub, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah. And then bringing up the rear, we have Raphael. That scowl showing off the teeth. Just growling at people. More lines on his face there. He's got the angry eyes. Got a lot more hash marks on his chest than the other ones do. And on his belt. His belt also looks like it's a little darker brown, but I'm not sure. He's got the same arms. Little foreskin skirt, thighs, knees, calves, toes, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, all that fun stuff. The lines painting down there. Flip them around. Got the back of his mask, got his shell. He also doesn't have holsters, which bothers me for his size, but I don't know, I'll figure something out. The back of his thighs, his calves, all this fun stuff. Moving on to articulation, they all have the same body, so we're going to do one of them. So they have a ball at the top, so you get a little bit of rotation side to side, spins all the way around, decent amount up, decent amount down, and then arms don't quite go up to 90, but they do rotate all the way around, like so. You have the bicep swivel, double joint elbows, which these are impressive. They go pretty far, and I didn't even have to heat this up. And you got the wrist pegs, which you get a little bit forward and back. I'm disappointed we didn't get, the like rocker ones for like swords. Unlike the other turtles in the past, like these have a lot more articulation in the abdomen, or at least it feels like it, because they've got this like little kind of like midsection piece that's separate. Like you can see like it shifts back and forth. It has a lot of like range of motion. You get a lot more forward and back than we usually do with the turtles. So I don't know if it's just because the shell's different or what. Legs go out almost to 90. Forward, rotation at the hip, double joint knees, which again, these feel like they are a lot easier to pose than previous turtles. Like I don't feel like I'm going to break them. Got ankle pivot forward, back, side to side. So realistically, oh, and of course, got his little tail twists around, so you can kind of have it in different directions. But realistically, you can get these in just about any pose you could want the turtles to be in. And I will be doing less poses for each of the turtles. Oh, and the little ties to the mask rotate. Moving on to accessories, you get one set of each of these hands. So you get a set of fists, which I really like the details of like the lines and the fingers there. And then you get a set of karate chopping hands, a set of the like choking or reaching hands, and then a set of sai holding hands. Got that gap in there for the sai, which it's a tight squeeze, but you can fit it through. Just be very careful because the sai does feel brittle. So that's why I see I didn't push it in all the way. Speaking of the sai, here's how it looks. It's got that like white grayish hue, and then you've got the brown taper on the bottom. Then we do have the nunchucks, which have a rope instead of a chain or a wire this time, which I think was a good choice. Gives it a nice kind of flow. And then we have the two katanas, which have that kind of light blue on the one side of it and the white on the like sharp edge. And you have the yellow at the hilt leading down to the wraps, which are really well done with the sculpt and the paint. So that those dark lines really bring out the details. And of course you have Donatello's bow staff. Has some line work in the wood. Ooh, dropped a little bit there. So you can kind of tell the difference between that and the wrap. The wrap is a slightly lighter brown. You can see where they did some line work, but not a lot in there. Then you do have some ninja stars that look little buzzsaws. We've got more of the tails to the mask, which look great. Be careful like swapping out, because I have seen people break them. I just have to like twist and pull to pull mine out. You do have Raph's little like hood, his little burlap hood. Has some great sculpt. Like the texture really does look like a burlap sack. Got the little notches there holding it in the front. Got all these lines to kind of show emphasize the wrinkles in it. You got the nicks around the edges. The hood even, like it looks fantastic. Speaking of which, you also get the little bandaged arm for Raph. Now switching this out, this is the first time I've done it. It is terrifying, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm just kind of twist and pull to get it out very gently because I don't want to break these since they're so hard to find right now. Once you get it out, pop this one in, and now he's got his boo-boo arm. And it is a little loose, but you can push it in to make it tighter. There we go. And then if we put the hood on, oh wait, no, I think I'm gonna have to take I'm gonna have to take off the back of the mask. Give me 1 second. Get that out. There we go. Now we just pop this on over. And now we've got the burlap sack hood on, which looks really cool. I really like that kind of drapes over one side of the face. And he's got his little bandage. Next up, we've got size comparison. So here he is with some other comic book figures. We've got the Archie Comics Slash, who is about the same height as him. He just looks shorter because he's hunched over. And then we've got the Triceraton, who is drastically bigger. He's about to his shoulder, which is nice. Definitely want the Triceratops to look as big and beefy as possible. Here he is with the, I'll get his hips a little more straight here. There we go. Here he is with the new battle damage Shredder. Shredder is about a head taller than him, like not very much taller. And then of course we've got Jada Toys Ryu, who's a smidge taller. And then we've got Trigger from the Valorverse line, who's a little bit taller as well. Move them out of the way. Of course, you got to have our boys. We've got Jon Favreau from the Marvel Legends line here, who's a little bit under a head taller, and then Destro, good old Pimp Daddy's a little bit taller as well. And then we got the big beefy boy, the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Armadillo, who is just massive. And then last up we have the massive box, which here is Donatello for size comparison. Honestly didn't think I was going to get this in frame, but I somehow did. It looks fantastic. You've got this great artwork with the turtles. You've got the mutant shredders. You've got some foot soldiers hidden in the back. You've got Shredder in the back of the like sewer or whatever this is. Like, looks incredible. And then on one side you have two of the turtles. Other side you've got the other two. And then logo in that kind of like tan color on top. You've got all the artists and warnings and barcode on the bottom. And then the front does fold down. And you've got this great artwork in the background, which looks really cool. The turtles there mourning, and the shredder helmet there as well. And then you've got the little street scene that you can have them displayed on. And if you flip it around back here, you've got tons of stuff to look at. So we've got all sorts of different poses of them with the new foot soldier. Got them lined up. And then you've got all the other figures in the line. So I would say they did a fantastic job. Okay, so overall, I absolutely love how these turned out. I've been excited for these since they announced them a few years ago at Comic-Con. I do have a couple gripes though. The shells are a little weird to me, and I'm really disappointed we didn't get more hands. I feel like you're already made the sculpt, just add in a couple extra pairs of the same hands we had, so that way you aren't limited to only having one or two turtles can have that hand being used at a time. It just kind of seems silly to me. I know the Toon Turtles had a lot of reuse in them, but at the same time I feel like we got more for less money, which even though that was a couple years ago, still feels, a little odd to me. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Helps us out here at the channel and gets you a tutorial content in your feed, including the reviews, the Let's Poses, the live stream, and the podcast. Also, don't forget to let me know in the comments below your thoughts and feelings on this 4-pack. Did this sway you one way or another? If you're on the fence, all of that kind of stuff, let me know. And if you're a fan and would like to help support the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/moderntoyfair. We have a bunch of different tiers of different rewards. The link will be in the description down below. That's going to be it for this video. Hopefully see you next week. Same toy time, same toy fair channel. Thank you for watching.